What's up, guys? Picking back up where we left on the last part, fuel cell. You can see, got everything marked out and I actually started cutting a few pieces just to make sure my whole setup's gonna work. You can see using an aluminum blade on a circular saw, a couple rulers, making sure I got straight lines. Face shield for sure. This aluminum is getting everywhere. And that's only from one cut. And that, and that. Yeah, aluminum's everywhere. But, like I mentioned in the last part, fully welding this aluminum fuel cell. It's gonna be like 18 linear feet of welds, so it's gonna be interesting. Gonna learn a lot. I'm better learn how to TIG weld. But with that, I guess we'll jump right into it, start seeing if this piece will fit in the rear, and then mock up the rest of it. All right, let's jump into it. So it looks like this fuel cell is gonna work out. Shape of it, whatnot, contours. The rear subframe should fit in there pretty nice. It is going to sit about 2 inches above this frame rail. Should give a little more volume and hang down 12 inches. Rough calculation, it's going to be about 13 and a half, 14 gallons. So that should get me, depending on miles per gallon, you know, like somewhere. Yeah, it's going to be rough. Definitely going to have to make a lot of fuel stops if I do take this thing road tripping and whatnot. But for getting around, cruising and whatnot, this is going to be plenty, you know, never going to be too far away from a gas station. But now that I know this shape is going to work, I'm going to go ahead, cut out the bottom piece, and then start cutting out all the sides. So, I guess we'll jump into that. It's a whole lot of cutting. Got all the metal cut out, acetone cleaned up, wire brushed on the edge, torch ready to go, and a whole pile of tungsten ready for when I inevitably dip it in the puddle. So I guess go ahead and I'll try to learn how to TIG weld. Man, I gotta be honest, I'm having a really hard time. Never thought I would have this much trouble trying to weld aluminum. Just on my test pieces, everything looks out, pretty good. Trying different things, obviously dipping the tungsten. But as soon as I try to go welding onto my actual pieces, join an angle to here, or inside 90s, inside corners, it's just not welding. But as soon as I do an outside corner, I mean, for amateur, that's pretty good. I'm happy with this. I'm not happy with these results, but it will hold. It will hold everything in securely. Not worried about anything falling apart. So I'm just going to keep moving forward. Just as a quick breakdown, what we got now: Holley drop-in fuel pump with the fuel sender, or fuel level sender. Obviously have an issue here, gonna have to trim that back, maybe get a different float, like a ball or something. I'm not sure if they even offer that, but put some baffles in here. This is perforated titanium. Why? Because I have like a 10-foot by 5-foot sheet of perforated titanium, and it's just been sitting in the corner for like 5 years. Might as well use it for something. But I think that'll be pretty good for side-to-side slosh. Not a whole lot I can do about front to back. It's such a shallow tank anyway. I doubt we'll have any issues with that. But I'm gonna, decided to throw these in there. Gonna go ahead, weld the front on, drill, rivet those in place, both sides. And then once that's all good, weld on these side pieces, weld some supports to actually hang it onto the frame rail. And then take a little fill neck. I think that's going to go somewhere about right in there. And that'll be sitting over the frame rail. Just enough clearance to where I can get fuel into here. And should be pretty good. But man, I'm struggling. This is a tough one. For some reason I thought I was going to be able to, jump right into this, knock it out, but it's harder than I thought. But I'm not giving up, pushing through, and I guess I'll go ahead, keep at it. Weld the front on, weld the sides on, weld the supports, weld the fill neck, and then drop it in. We'll see how far I get today. It's already like almost 5. I've been out here all day. But shit, we'll get it. Prettiest weld, but it looks like it's solid. No leaks. That was a huge gap I had to fill. This one's gonna be rough too. All right, so looks like fuel cell is pretty much done. Went ahead, got some hanger brackets here, fill neck welded on, and everything passed a leak check. Had a few small leaks, ended up having to come back, patch them up. I think it was like 4 or 5, but really not that bad considering it's the first real aluminum TIG project I've done, aluminum any project really. But it's not done yet. I'm gonna go ahead and probably have to sand this thing up, but I'm gonna coat it in some black bed liner. Should hide it up underneath the car pretty good and protect it from anything if it were to, you know, rocks jump up, hit this. Kind of protect this a little bit. It is pretty low on the car, so figure a good coat of this might help out from, you know, small impact. But I guess we'll get this prepped up, take it outside and spray it. Ooh, man, this thing turned out nice. Good rough finish on there. Pretty smooth, but I like how it turned out. Boom. Cool. I don't know if you can see down in there. But, yeah, this thing's nice and covered. Looking pretty damn good. Yeah, I like that. What am I touching on? Oh, did I put too much? Did I not account for the thickness of the bed liner? Maybe. Barely fits. Fill neck, gonna be over here. I have to notch that out, of course. Got some bolt holes. That's gonna hold this thing down in place from shifting around. You see I have There's a gap there, there's a gap there. That's going to be a bolt coming through the front side to the back with a nut on the back. So that'll be all right. Same thing with that. I just won't be able to drop the diff without dropping the fuel tank. And a couple bolt holes on this side too. Good little gap. Shouldn't rub. It'll be held captive. But man, that thing is in there. And it's, I didn't do the volume calculations after I redesigned it a little bit, but it'll probably be around 15 gallons. You see internal baffles. Ooh, yeah. Yeah. But man, look at that thing. Whew. It is getting there. So, gas tank is in, hanging, checking out from underneath here. Got the car up on the lift again, and man, that thing is, it's in there. Barely got some clearance. Whew, it is tight, but I wanted to go for as much volume as possible, get as much fuel as I could. Ooh, yeah, there's some light there. So, finally got that taken care of. One more unknown, knocked off the list. Got the drive shaft, that thing's good to go. Fuel, and had some questions last time. I got the exhaust bolted up. It really wasn't that hard. All I had to do was notch off here, cut that at a 40, ooh, that's still sharp. Cut that at a 45, and yeah, it'll actually get a little more clearance once it's bolted up. I just got it hanging now. But we got factory exhaust, manifolds, catted down pipes, mid pipes, whatever they are, run in about halfway back under the car. Now I got to figure out how that's going to make its way right about there. And right about there. So, but it is coming along like, man, every time, like I said last time, every time I work on this thing, it just works. Like, cool, we got a train coming. Oh well. But like I said last time, everything on this thing is just working out. Like, all I had to do, notch the frame a little bit, and the exhaust fits, bolts right up. Saves me like $1,000 on downpipe, headers, all that. And factory, O2s, all that. So no check engine lights, which is good. Now, just got to finish routing the exhaust. And I think, ooh, man, it's bright out here. But I think, yeah, I'm going to drop the car off the lift real quick. So back up under the hood, you can see I got some wire harness extensions, connect the fuel injectors back to the factory harness. Yeah, after I installed the high ram intake, factory just couldn't quite reach. It was about 2 inches too short. So came up with these guys, 6 inches long, I think. Should be good to go. Nice and clean setup. And it's one more thing to check off the list, getting this thing closer to firing up. With that, I think I was a little ambitious going after the wiring harness next, trying to get everything done. I still got holes in the firewall, floor's wide open, and you can see no cooling system at all. And I think when I do the first fire up, I don't want it to be a temporary, real quick, you know, proof of concept kind of thing. I want to be able to turn it on and let it run. I've seen quite a few where, you know, no cooling system, no water, and you can fire, man, it just, you know, you got to shut it down right away. I don't want that. I want to let it warm up and maybe even see if it moves. We'll see, but that's still way down the line. I got to get the cooling system knocked out. So that means a whole tube chassis front end. Shouldn't be a whole lot of work. I think I'm going to do like 1/2-inch tube, you know, something that will hold everything in place, but not too structural. I do have to build a bash bar, bumper, all that stuff. But I'll go ahead and knock that all out before I jump on the wiring. And before wiring, probably patch up all these holes and whatnot, you know, try to clean it up, because this thing is finally getting there. Like, light at the end of the tunnel kind of thing. It's happening. Like, this whole thing has just been such a huge ordeal of just figuring stuff out, making things work, learning. Like, this whole episode was me learning how to TIG weld aluminum, which I've never done. I just sat down and tried it. And yeah, it took a lot of effort, took a lot of learning, a lot of mistakes, but it worked. And now I'm more confident, you know. If I were to have to weld some more aluminum, I got that. Might not look the prettiest, but it'll work. So, you know, I think that's one of the biggest things with this project has been figuring out that, yeah, I might not know how to do anything, but I'll try it. If it doesn't work out, you know, try it again. Because if I don't get this thing done, it's not ever going to get done. So, I mean, I guess that's the biggest takeaway, that, yeah, even if you don't know how to do something, especially with cars and whatnot, it doesn't really matter. Just go for it. You chop something up, take it apart, see if you can put it together. If not, you know, now you got a bunch of parts. But anyway, I guess I'll leave y'all there. Thank y'all for liking. Thanks for subscribing. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.